Can we have our ball back?
What's up, y'all? Today I want to talk about a movie that I feel gets an unnecessary amount of hate, and that's Halle Berry's Catwoman.
You hate on a nigga. I don't understand why you hate on me, nigga.
People dog this movie left to right, and I don't think that's fair. The film is very campy, and I love camp. And one thing about me, I don't care how you feel about the dialogue, camera movement, or acting. If I can sit through a whole movie without falling asleep, that's a 5-star movie. And I'm not sorry. If you can keep me entertained, you made a good movie. And that's why I enjoy this film. And on top of that, you got Halle Berry. Yeah, I'm in. So let's slide into this recap. The movie opens up and man, somebody already done died.
That bitch is dead.
But don't worry, it's just Patience. And I bet you're wondering how she got there, right? Well, in order to find that out, we have to start from the beginning. We see Patience running late to work and she lets us know that she's always had dreams of being an artist. But now she's stuck doing designs for a makeup company. And you know, that actually doesn't sound that bad because at least she has a job that's related to the field of work that she inspires to have. A lot of inspiring artists have to work at jobs that have nothing even remotely similar to art. And that's even if they have a job. So that's the way to look at it if she hates her job. We get introduced to her friend Sally, who's obsessed with this moisturizing cream. After she puts it on, she starts to get these headaches. And make a note of that because it's gonna come back later on in the film. So now we're in a meeting with George and Laurel, who are their bosses. They're talking highly about this moisturizer, which is the same one that Sally was using. In the middle of the discussion, Laurel lets everybody know that she's stepping down as the face of the company, and George interrupts her to show everyone the new leading lady at the company.
We have decided to choose a new face to represent Ely.
Exactly. Drina.
And you can tell by Laurel's face that the decision to step down wasn't hers. She has this look of disappointment and betrayal, and rightfully so. I mean, her husband is running this company and is making all the calls, so you would think that he would have her back and continue making her the face. But no, as soon as she's considered too old, he just replaces her for a younger woman. She even makes a joke about it.
Careful, George. She's not old enough to drink.
And on top of that, this product is meant to be an anti-aging product, so it would make a lot more sense to have the face of the product be someone who is older so the consumers can see if this product really makes an older person look younger. That's the first red flag right there. Like, imagine buying an anti-aging product and the person on the box is 21 years old. You can keep that on the Walmart aisles or a Target if you're feeling bougie. Well, after the meeting, George calls Patience to the office because he isn't happy with the designs that she came up with. And any respectable boss would give a well thought out critique about what they like and don't like and what changes they want. But not George. He completely goes off on her. He insults the way she dresses and even her nails.
Oh, and do try and get a manicure, will you?
Now I see why Patience hates her job. She has to deal with this arrogant fool every day, and I know he be stressing her out. But luckily Laurel chimes in and tells George to leave Patience alone because she's a good worker. George lets her go but tells her to have the designs corrected by midnight tomorrow. Now it's almost 4 a.m. and Patience can't get any sleep because her loud neighbors are throwing a house party. She gets up to try to get them to turn the music down, but they don't care about her. Having loud neighbors is the worst, but playing loud music in the wee hours of the morning is just wild and disrespectful. I feel so bad for Patience because she gets no respect from anybody, but she does make eye contact with the cat, and the next morning she sees the same cat pop up at her window. She goes to play with it and sees that it's stuck outside of her apartment and tries to get it, but ends up getting stuck herself. Now, I like animals, mainly dogs, but I'm not saving anything hanging outside of a building. I'd rather call a professional for help and we both stay safe. And while stranded, an officer sees her and thinks that she's trying to off herself and tries to talk her down. While talking, the air conditioning unit that Patience is standing on begins to break, and he rushes to get her and manages to save her just in time. After he saves her, everyone gives them a round of applause, you know, job well done. And Patience looks at the time and remembers that she has to get to work because you already know George doesn't care if you just almost died or not. If you don't make it to work, you getting fired. While she's rushing out, she drops her wallet and the officer picks it up. And this may have been the luckiest thing that has happened to Patience maybe ever. I bet if anybody else would have picked that wallet up, she would have got.
You've been touched by an angel, girl.
He tracks her down and delivers the wallet to her. We find out that his name is Tom and he asks her out on a date. And her friends are loving this. You would have thought that he asked them out on a date. And it's really nice seeing Patience smile and joke with her friends. She seems like a really sweet and caring girl surrounded by some people who take advantage of her. So I like that she has people who genuinely care for her. I also like that she says that she's never gonna wear a leather outfit, but we all know that that's not true.
I will never, ever, ever wear that leather outfit.
The lies! There you go, this bitch. The lies.
Back to the movie, Patience has finished her designs, but doesn't have anyone to send them to George, so she does it herself. The building is closed, so she goes to the back looking for a way in. Inside, we see Laurel and a guy going over the side effects of what happens when you use the cream. Their plan is to make the cream addictive. Also, after long-term use, if you stop using the product, then they will have to succumb to serious skin side effects. When she enters through the lab, she sees the picture of the woman with the damaged skin and accidentally knocks over some equipment. They call for security and she rushes out. Two guys chase her, shooting guns at her trying to kill her. She runs into a waste pipe and they trap her in and turn the water on. And man, I would have been so scared because what else can you do in this situation? You're basically done. That's what happened to Patience. The water knocked her right out, and it brings us to where the movie started. Her dead body is surrounded by a gang of cats, and this one cat crawls on top of her and just blows his breath in her face. And this cat must have some magical breath because it brings Patience back to life. And quickly we see that she has heightened senses and cat-like gestures and movements. She heads back home and breaks into her own house. And I don't think she had any other option to get in since everything else got washed away. But now it's the next day and she wakes up from sleeping on top of a shelf by a voicemail letting her know that she missed her date. She also sees the cat again and takes it to its owner. When she makes it to the owner, Ophelia Powers' house, she soon realizes that this lady obviously loves some cats. She gets ready to leave, but Ophelia throws a ball with catnip towards her. And when she catches it, she kind of rolls it in her face, like how cats play with balls. Pause. And this scene was so funny because I know they're being dead serious, but that's what makes it even more funny. She then leaves out, and at work she gets yelled at by George in front of everybody, and the old Patience would have sat there and taken it. But this Patience ain't here for the bull, and she tells him everything that everybody has been thinking, and of course he fires her. But everybody starts clapping and cheering her on, and I know they're happy that their boss just got red, but now Patience doesn't have a job and they're just clapping like, y'all gonna help her pay some bills or something? So Patience and Sally are headed home and Patience stops to see this necklace. And while she's turned, Sally passes out. She takes her to the hospital and the doctor tells her that nothing's wrong. And Sally seems to be used to this at this point and doesn't want Patience to worry about her, but instead focus on going on a date with Tom. So she goes to find Tom, who's speaking with kids. They end up playing basketball and she watches him with some sandals on. We then see Laurel looking over a table of pictures of the new model. Then she sees George taking her out in the limo and she gets so mad that she busts this glass that she had in her hand. And when we see her hand, there's no cuts or blood anywhere to be found. So Laurel isn't just some regular woman, she has some super strength or something.
Super bitch.
It's now nighttime and Patience's loud neighbors are having another party. So this time she goes to take matters into her own hand and crashes the party and damages the speaker with beer. And she deserves a round of applause for this because F those neighbors.
Fuck you and your family, bitch.
After she serves up some justice, she goes back home and gets the leather suit that Sally bought that she said she would never wear and gives herself a little haircut and makeover and even steals a motorcycle. She heads out driving to the jewelry store with the diamond necklace that she saw earlier. While there, she sees some burglars breaking in and goes to stop them. She's hitting flips, kicks, and my favorite part is when she rides this one guy like a surfboard. Beyonce would be so proud. After she beats up all the robbers, she takes their bag and heads home. And it's not until the next morning that she realizes that she has all of the jewelry from the store. And with the exception of the one diamond necklace that she wants, she rushes the jewelry back to the store in a paper bag with sorry written on it and some cupcakes. And I'm like, aw, that's so sweet. I love a nice thief.
Oh.
Now back at home, Patience is looking at information about Catwoman. And she finds a cat with a very similar look to the cat that has been following her. So she goes to Ophelia to get some answers. Ophelia lets her know that she died and was reborn, and Midnight, who is the cat that's been following her, already knew her fate, and that's why she chose her. Patience is shocked because she doesn't remember anything that happened the day that she died. Ophelia also lets her know that it's a gift, and the gift is both a blessing and a curse, because with it you will often be alone and misunderstood. Which is ironic because Patience herself is a very lonely person and misunderstood compared to everyone else around her. So that's likely what Midnight saw in her when they first encountered at her apartment building. Now knowing that someone tried to kill her, she sets out to find out who did it. And she isn't doing this in her regular old clothes. She's doing this in her upgraded super suit. And I'm telling you now, this is the best superhero costume ever created. Not best Catwoman, best superhero suit, period. Now, I don't know how it's going to be fighting with the toes out, but at least she still looks good. She spots a man talking to someone in a limo, and after catching a glimpse at his face, she quickly starts to regain some of her memory and follows him to a club. To get his attention, she puts on a little show, and when he spots her, she catches him and throws him out like the trash he is. Once they're both outside, she starts tossing him around like it's nothing. Then when she's done playing with him, she gets on top of him and grabs his tongue with her nails. And those nails look familiar, don't they, huh? She asks him about the murder. He says he was just taking orders, but Patience really wants to get to the bottom of it. So she goes back to the lab and spots the doctor guy that she saw the last time she was there. Only this time he's dead. Before she can even get any further, she's spotted by one of the workers and quickly escapes. It's now the next day and Patience is visiting Sally in the hospital. While there, they watch a news report blaming Catwoman for the death of the doctor guy in the lab. Also, Patience tells Sally to stop using the cream because it's what's making her sick. We then see Tom, who is comparing the writings from a cup Patience gave him to the writing on the bag that the stolen jewelry was left in. He gets a test ran on them and they come back as a negative match.
You are not!
So Tom decides to move forward with his date with Patience. The date is going well until the freaking Ferris wheel starts to break down. Luckily, Patience is there and she saves a boy who was close to death from falling. She gets him back to his mom and everybody acts like nothing just happened. And man, if that was me, they would have been hearing from my lawyer cause ain't no way. Later that night, Patience breaks into Laurel and George's house looking for information. Everything is going good until Laurel comes out of nowhere and knocks her down with a golf club. They have a standoff for a little bit, and Patience lets Laurel know that she thinks that George is the one who killed the doctor. Laurel gives her the information to where George is, along with the phone. And I think this is the old Patience taking over because why does she think that it's so easy to persuade this woman that her husband is a killer? It was a very gullible move for Patience and proof that some things never change. Stay woke, Patience. Now, she's made it to the theater that George is at, but can't get to him like she wants to because the police burst in and find her, likely due to that phone having a tracker on it. She goes backstage and runs into Tom, and this sequence was fun because they play a little game of cat and mouse and she gets away by shutting off the lights. It's now the next day and George is furious about his face getting scratched and Laurel gives him a good read.
Stop eating Viagra like they're vitamins. Resist the urge to date children born the same day they invented the cell phone.
I love to see little Georgie getting bitched out. I call it justice. We're now on a date with Patience and Tom. They talk about Catwoman some and some other stuff, nothing too juicy, but the real juice comes when they get to Patience's place and after they do, Tom gets up to go to the fridge and he steps on one of the nails from the cat suit. He leaves out and at the station, Tom is quickly running tests to compare his scratch with the nail that he found at Patience's place and it comes back as a match.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Shortly after, Patience wakes up and gets a call from Laurel, letting her know that she has proof against George and that they should meet up. Patience goes to get the evidence from Laurel and it's George's dead body. It turns out that this was all a scheme set up by Laurel to frame Catwoman for the bullshit.
Smoking gun. Which, sweetheart, you just emptied into my husband's chest.
Patience manages to get away, but Tom leads all the officers to her home and get her arrested. She tries to explain to him that Laurel is the one who killed George and the doctor, but Tom isn't going for it. They take her behind bars, but forget that she's half cat because she escapes the cell with ease and steals some man's car and drives to the lunch party for the beauty cream and sabotages the delivery trucks so they don't make their shipments. Back at the party, Tom meets up with Laurel to question her about George's death. She insists that it was Catwoman, but he's going against it and gets her to reveal that she in fact killed her husband George.
Oh, you just gave me what I want. You just told me it was you.
Now why would you believe it was me?
But now that he knows, she can't let him live, so she shoots him and tries to kill him. But luckily Catwoman comes and saves him. She then goes to finish off Laurel. While fighting, Patience lets Laurel know that she's the one who was flushed away in the sewer pipe.
I'm Patience Phillips.
That's who's under there?
And as the fight continues, Catwoman is throwing Laurel every which way, and Laurel is getting up like it's nothing. I don't know what they put in that cream. It must be some type of superhero serum, because these hits are doing nothing to her.
Super bitch.
She ends up stabbing Catwoman and beating her with the spear all the way to the end of the building. But Catwoman ain't finna go out like that, because she gets some adrenaline and flips the script on Laurel, who falls to her death. The movie ends with Catwoman walking in her newfound purpose, which is to live her life untamed and free. Catwoman may not be considered a great film by the general audience, but in my house, this movie was considered a classic. It touched on topics of being that one awkward person, surrounded by individuals who are charismatic and always know the right thing to say. Myself being a very awkward and shy introverted individual, which is why you only hear my voice and don't see my face. I really connected with Patience as a character and felt what she was going through. It also touched on the fact that these companies only care about a profit. They don't care if the product they created harms the consumer. As long as it's selling, then they're happy. The film also touched on the fact that as women get older, they are viewed as less valuable or marketable than younger women. And this is something that's always been an issue, with women being treated basically like trash. They use them for all their worth, and when they use them up, they throw them away to the dumpster, get a new bag, and start all over again. It's really disgusting and a story that's been told over and over again with no end in sight. So I appreciate the film for bringing up that issue. And before I leave, I want to give out a special award, the award for best action sequence. I love a good fight scene, and tonight I want to give the award to the jewelry store fight scene. Because how many times have you seen somebody riding a person like a surfboard? It wins hands down. Come on up and get your award. And that's all for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.